Hello there. Workers at 14 rail companies in the UK threatened to walk away this week after collective bargaining collapsed. The union RMT, that's Rail, Maritime and Transport, announced on Monday that a majority of its members rejected a last minute offer from the employer's side. This means that the employees will go on strike today when I'm filming this, and also today when you're seeing this on Friday and on Saturday. British rail customers who have already had to cope with failures this week due to snowfall are hit hard. Railway operations should come to a standstill before 7:30 a.m. and after 6:30 p.m. on the day of the strike. A complete shutdown is expected in parts of Scotland and Wales. RMT also announced a strike over the Christmas period from Christmas Eve until the morning of December 27th. And now let the army help out. That's a wave of strikes that will sweep the kingdom in the run up to Christmas and throughout the festive season into the year. To cushion the effects of industrial action in the public sector, the British government wants to deploy members of the armed forces. Cabinet Secretary Oliver Dowden chaired a meeting of the Cobra crisis team on Monday, which discussed mobilizing soldiers to continue operating rescue vehicles and emergency rooms. Since border control officials will also go on strike, soldiers are also to be deployed at 5 airports in the country. Lord Dennett, the former Chief of Staff, did not think much of the idea of using soldiers as scabs. In the case of natural disasters, the general said, "Would anyone understand why the military has to help out? But a deployment doesn't make sense in the context of labor disputes, which many people think the government could solve, but doesn't do for political purposes." He was even clearer to the Mail on Sunday and warned that soldiers that they might decide they've had enough to bail out a government they got themselves into. And he said that in the interview. And you might think, I joined to be a soldier, not a scab. Last year, many soldiers were banned from vacationing over the holidays due to the corona pandemic. The Guardian quoted another officer with reservations. Bad government planning means soldiers miss Christmas. And to help the bailout that are paralyzing the country. The use of the military will hardly make a big difference, though. Around 10,000 emergency vehicle drivers went on strike on December 21st, or will go on strike on December 21st, but only around 1,000 soldiers are ready to be replacing them. The government blames the unions for the disruption caused by the strikes. The government will do everything it can to mitigate the impact, is what Dowden said on Monday. But the only way to stop it is for union bosses to call off these damaging strikes. The government has taken a hardline set, rejects negotiations with the union, and points out that the wage increases at the level of inflation, which currently stands at 11.1%, are unaffordable. One wants to prevent an inflationary spiral fanned by wage increases, they say. Currently, the rate of wage increases is 2.3% in the public sector and 6.8% in the private sector. In addition, there is not enough money in the state coffers for generosity. If all public sector salaries were to be raised at the rate of inflation, argued publicist James Forsyth in The Times, it would cost an extra £18 billion. The public will eventually turn against the workers and not against ministers, he said. The big test for this strategy will come on Thursday. For the first time in its more than 100-year history, the Royal College of Nurses is calling on its member to take part in industrial action and wants around 100,000 nurses to go on strike on December 15th and 20th. Noting that their real wages have fallen steadily since the Conservative government took office 12 years ago, the RCN is calling for a pay rise of 5% above the retail cost index inflation rate. That would be currently around 19% more wages. RCN boss Pat Cullen has signaled she could press the pause button for the strike to begin and be flexible on her wage demand if Health Secretary Steve Barclay agreed to serious negotiations. Come to the negotiating table, she said, and let's have this discussion. But Barclay has turned down talks of a wage increase beyond the 4.75% the government is offering. So Once again, the government is on the ostrich tactics line. But we will see how that will work out. I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.